Greetings, everyone. GleeCon here again with another episode of Lore of Warcraft. All right, so this is the episode that I wanted to get to before we resumed our Let's Play, so stay a while and listen to this one. This brings us to 1 year after the Dark Portal officially in the current canon. I don't know, 20, 30 years if you go on the original Warcraft lore. It's called the Holy Order of Northshire Clerics. Or Northshire Clerics, if you want to have like a British accent. Northshire. This is let's read about it, and we'll talk a little bit about if I was right to wait or not. You'll find out with me. Combat against the Horde was a brutal affair for Stormwind. The wounds inflicted by the Orcs' mighty weapons could cause a human to bleed out within minutes. One of the great sources of hope on the battlefield was the group of clerics who risked their lives to heal soldiers wounded in combat. The Holy Order of Northshire Clerics had its members accompany every Stormwind patrol and battalion into the fray, just as they had in wars past. These clerics traced their roots to the Church of the Holy Light in Lodaeron. Long ago they had established the Northshire Abbey in Stormwind and become a critical component of the kingdom. The clerics had been present on the battlefields of various conflicts, including the Knoll War and the war against the Gurubashi. In some cases, their compassion had even granted them safety on the battlefield. The clerics were known to heal wounded gnolls and trolls in the past. Such was not the case with the Horde. The Orcs ruthlessly targeted every cleric they found, knowing that these healers could return a wounded human to battle. I mean, it's smart. Many of the clerics died without armor or weapons. They could do nothing against the Horde's fury. Despite mounting losses among their ranks, the clerics never hesitated from joining the battle. Their bravery became legendary among Stormwind's forces. And you could argue, and the timeline argues, that this is when you start getting clerics as like a class, like a battle World of Warcraft class. Let's read the sidebar. Humanity and the Holy Light. Sacrifice and courage were among the founding principles of the Church of the Holy Light. The Church traced its origins back more than 2,000 years ago, all the way to the chaos of the Troll Wars. A human general, Lodaeron, selflessly gave his life to hold off an overwhelming force of Amani trolls that threatened to destroy a united human army. One of the people he saved was his sister, a renowned warrior named Mereldar. When the war ended, Mereldar dedicated her life to caring for humanity's wounded veterans. It was she who first spoke to other humans about visions of the light. In her dreams, Mereldar saw 5 strange forms, not human, thrumming with holy power. That would be the Pantheon, the Titans. They filled her mind with the wisdom of holiness, protection, justice, retribution, and compassion. Oh, so that's cool, because that's not only is that priest, but that also branches off into the types of paladins there are. When she put their wordless teachings into practice, power seemed to flow through her. The patients under her care would see their wounds disappear and their illnesses vanish. Other humans also reported seeing these visions. Mereldar met with them, and together they codified the radiant wisdom of this higher power into the written word. From the teachings in these books, a religious movement formed. It was based on the tenet of selflessness and a belief that the light dwelled in all things. The movement sparked widespread faith in the Holy Light and became the predominant human religion. Centuries later, Lodaeron's leaders codified the different light-based traditions and belief systems. From these efforts, the Church of the Holy Light came to be. Lodaeron served as the home of this church. It became a popular destination for travelers seeking healing, wisdom, and inner peace. Humans were not the first race on Azeroth to wield the Holy Light, yet they had a great affinity to it, likely due to their heritage. Humanity traced its origins to the Vrykul, half-giants forged by the mythical Keepers. The extraordinary Keepers had shaped Azeroth, and some of them had commanded the Holy Light. The Church constructed temples and shrines throughout the far-flung human lands, and it created a hierarchy of religious leaders to oversee its followers. The most important places of worship were located in the verdant Eastweald. That must be what becomes the Eastern Plaguelands. Among the oldest and most revered of these holy sites were Light's Hope Chapel, Stratholme, Anderhall, and Tyr's Hand. So one, we're seeing a detailed description of humans and why they became kind of like the standard bearers for priests. Cool. 2, we're seeing, and paladins. 2, we are seeing how the orcs started slaughtering them and how they're taking place in the battle, which we're going to see very next episode on our Let's Plays. And 3, we're setting up the Eastern Plagueland main points of interest. Okay, so now I feel like we're okay going and playing through Let's Plays that have clerics, that have knights, that have wizards, catapult. Sure, there's no lore needed to do a catapult. So that'll take us through another few episodes on that. Okay, cool. Another episode in the pipes, 5x5. I thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode of Lore of Warcraft.